Aleix Pol. Thank you very much.
Well, all right. Thanks for cutting the break short and skipping on the coffee to listen to my talk. Christy said that my talk is going to be awesome. I don't know that much about that, but I'll do my best. So, all right. Why is this man known for being contributing to Linux and FreeSoftware for so long, talking about Android, which is known for being under the control and not really all that Linux, despite being on the Linux Summit. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Aleix. I live in Barcelona. Actually, I'm part of the organizing team over here. I'm also part of KDE. I'm actually the president of KDE nowadays, since actually very long. It's my first conference since I am. But I've been working with KDE for quite a long time now. I've been every time I count it, I feel a bit older. It's been like over 10 years now. I started working on applications actually. My first project was a calculator for students. Then I started working on an ID, and then started working on plasma things when I got hired by Blue Systems, who I am still working for. And there I do KDE software and some of the things that we will be talking about over here. So actually, when we were talking about LAS, we were talking about what we wanted to do. Like you very well will know, LAS, it's the first time that it's the Linux App Summit, but it started as the GNOME Libre App Summit, and we were thinking a lot about what we wanted to do. And while the desktop world appeared a lot of times, it's never been part of our vision per se, because it was our feeling, it was my feeling, it was our general consensus that what we actually care about is not the desktop itself, but how actual people use computers and how they do it. And what I would like to talk about today is not just Android per se, but mobile and how, as KDE, are we taking on the mobile challenge. Like you very well know, possibly if you have been looking at the Christopher news, KDE and specifically Plasma has been looking in the whole mobile phone thing for a long while. There's been several approaches. We did actually something called Plasma Active, like very long ago. Then there was something called Plasma Phone, and then now we're calling it Plasma Mobile, which probably just sounds all the same. It's these KDE people doing fuzzy things. But actually what has changed over the time has been how we have been looking at applications mostly, right? And that's because, one of the first challenges that you start to realize is that it's not that you need to have a shell that works on a touch interface, that you need to target different hardware, but it's basically that you will need to start to create a ton of different new applications. There's set of use cases that appear as soon as you decide to not only be able to detach from cables, which we have had for a while on laptops, for example, but when you decide that you can start using it while watching TV, your computer, or or on the phone. In this case, when you have it on the pocket and you're running late to that state, and you need an actual map application, right? It's not something that we have on the desktop, or we do actually have mapping applications for desktop, but the kind of use cases that you need and how you're going to interact with them on a phone is vastly different. Now, it's mostly about thinking about how the people is going to interact with these things. interact with a new scenario and interact with a new kind of device. You cannot assume anymore that you're going to have a keyboard. You have to assume that you will be able to have a touchscreen. I guess I'm saying obvious things, but I think that it's important that we remind ourselves that these are the kind of challenges that we're seeing in this case. Now, in KD, we try to take on big projects, but with other people, we know that it's done from the community and by the community. And actually, well, we don't have like the army of people that Google or Apple might have to take on these problems. And we also don't have their kind of money, right? So we need a strategy to make it possible for people to rally around the idea of making software and creating a set of tools that we aspire they will be used by the next generation of mobile phones with a different set of values than the platforms that we have nowadays. But that today, well, the amount of developers that we're going to have around are limited to what the KD community is, while it's probably one of the big communities that we have in the free software world, at least on the end user free software world. But then on the other hand, it's very humble compared to the thousands and millions of people who actually code every day because of their work or their passions. And this number is what we're talking about, right? When for us today it would be a success if 2,000-3,000 of people started to use Plasma on their mobile phones. We would be super happy about that. But this is the number that Google gives us in the number of Android devices that they have running around the world, right? We're talking about 2,500 million of people who, in their pocket, on their TV, on their tablet, are running this operating system. And from my perspective, it would actually be even kind of mean to say, no, we're going to create a new platform and we're going to make applications for this new platform and fuck these 2,500 million people who haven't decided to use Plasma Mobile yet. Right? To create our software, we're using Qt. And Qt is a technology that it has been around for a long while, and one of its big advantages is that it's cross-platform. It's something that they really care about, and they have been pushing from the beginning. Actually, Qt itself started because they wanted to have this a framework that would be good to create applications that would work on Windows and Linux, and then eventually on Mac, and then etc. etc. And actually, it was around this time that Matthias started developing KD on top of it, right? And it's when it became free software. But when the mobile started being a thing, they also ported it to Android and iOS, and that's why I'm bringing it up here. All of our software, theoretically, if it's developed properly, if you don't do Linux only thing, they're going to work on the different operating systems. We didn't end up having the talk this week because of logistical problems, but we had this talk yesterday that had to be cancelled by Baldwin from Krita. And if you look at his blog post, you will see that, his plan of message was kind of, we're flourishing because we're available on the Windows Store. They have a very compelling story about how they get to develop free software and target artists that are not using our Linux platform of our dreams by creating the application to work on Windows and OS X and maybe other platforms as well, including Linux. But it's not what their revenue is, and actually they're making a living out of it, which is not something that I'm going to claim over here. But I'm gonna use this number again because I think it's very important. We have a lot of people who are on these on these platforms, and we need to be able to reach them. Actually, one of my most frustrating experiences when developing Linux applications, like I said, I started working on a calculator. Let me go a bit forward for a second. That was my calculator. I started it when I was 18. I really wanted to do some math stuff, right? And I wanted to tell my friends that to use it, but I couldn't because I wasn't using exactly the same distro as them. There were the whole binary problems. We're talking about 2005, so the whole you could have used Flatpak or whatever back then wasn't really an answer, right? But not only that, right? Like I was never able to like show my mother what I was doing, or I mean, I could go with my laptop and say, look what your son is doing, smile to me or something, or say good boy, but it couldn't happen. And it wasn't until I decided to compile my application for Android that I could actually install it on her device, right? Because she was running Android, and actually Android is, in a way, because of these millions of people democratizing kind of platform, we like it or not. I actually don't like it, right? Like I have been putting effort in actually making Plasma Mobile a thing, but well, I cannot go against the numbers and the millions. Anyhow, when we started working on Plasma Mobile, actually we had a framework, still part of Plasma, that actually integrated with the Plasma look and feel so that you could create application for Plasma Mobile that would be exactly like your shell. And this worked, and actually we could have done with that. We could have told everyone, you want to make a Plasma Mobile application? Well, you port to this framework we have and use our libraries, and it will integrate beautifully. But what's the problem with that? Well, the problem with that is at the moment, until we're famous and rich, you will be developing for nobody. Especially in the situation we are in nowadays, until, Pine and Tourism fix it, we don't even have a proper phone to tell people, just use that and enjoy your free software mobility life, right? Because of that, we created the Kirigami product, which is based on the framework we did back then, but it was targeting this time not only Plasma Mobile, but also Plasma Desktop for one hand, and actually desktop systems, Windows Desktop, OS X Desktop, but also Android and Mac OS. So at the moment, we're not going to claim that our applications, our Kirigami application, is perfectly integrated on every desktop and on Android and iOS. It's definitely, for example, not a material application, a material design application, but you can use it successfully and happily on an Android device and be happy, right? So, like for me, the goal is to end up happy, not end up, perfect. Especially if we do it through FreeSolver. Now, having Kirigami allowed us to think about Android, like not for our shell. We're not gonna say Plasma Mobile works on Android, but we can say you're doing a mapping application, you're doing a calculator. Why don't you try to run it on Android and see how it feels? Why don't you try to put it on Google Play maybe and have people who are suffering from the lack of freedoms on Android, get some freedom through the free software you're making slowly. That's kind of what we started doing, what I started doing back then. I started with the algebra. Actually, this application has gone through all of the phones I have had since I joined KDE. The first one was the N810, and then the N9 and N950, which were Nokia and Linuxy kind of things. But actually, and it's actually still why we're here. Like they were Linuxy things, right? Like the applications were dead, but I couldn't just get my application over there, right? Like I had to spend an evening, an afternoon, a week to say, let's make my application work on this device, port it to the different APIs that were completely different from what we were using back then, and actually what we are using right now. Like, no of the applications that you guys are developing would be this whole you guys thing. None of the applications that you people are developing nowadays would be working on an N9 or any of the Linux devices, right? Not on the Sailfish. The whole problem we have with Sailfish, even nowadays, while they use Qt, and we should be happy about it, is that, well, they use this version of Qt from, well, the past, and, well, we don't only need to adapt our UX into their APIs, which, well, you can convince me that it could make sense, but we should also add a ton of steps to all of our libraries to make sure that the dependencies are fine. So, rant off. I ported Algebra to all of these devices, and then eventually I ported it to Android as soon as Qt 4 was available on Android. And on Android, they do have this concept of everything is in this one package, and you put it inside. All of our APKs have all of our dependencies inside. And, well, it kind of worked, and actually it allowed me to, well, start thinking about how I would want this calculator application work on a touch device, on a device that you have in your pocket. Are there different use cases? Definitely, right? And I didn't have to wait for somebody to start developing an operating system for my pocket to be able to decide what the application would look like. It could already actually start having users, having feedback, developing, improving, and then the day that Plasma Mobile is a proper reality, and by proper reality I mean it's something I can tell, but my mom just stop using this Android thing and start using what your son is creating. That's when it will be real, but until then, I think that we need to care about what people are using. Well, this is calculator, and it's not been only me caring about that. For example, Marvel, maybe you've seen the application, has been around in KDE and FreeSoftware for a decade as well. And they also had this idea of starting porting the application to several platforms. They even had some UX that was, I think it was for the N900, that was specific for going with your bike. This is something that, as a developer of Linux today, you cannot think about, right? Unless you are strapping your laptop to your bike, you need to have ways. And for them, this was Android. K-Start, start application, the Potato Man, because games, right? We have a bunch of them. This one is actually pretty interesting. It's called the Itinerary, and it's about this. Every time that you buy a flight or a train, and actually it works with concert tickets and this kind of stuff. You get some data, and this app understands this the data, and you can use it. If people don't start developing this nowadays, when we have Plasma Mobile, we will have to tell people, when you travel, you will need to carry an Android phone on your pocket so that you can go through security on the airport, right? This is going to be bad. And, well, obviously, all of the people who are mostly concerned about Plasma Mobile and getting it on the hardware today and making sure that the address book works, making sure that the calling application works, well, that their list of their concerns is to actually care about how to get into a Kylie Minogue concert, right? So we need to have this parallelization of different visions and allow for people to embrace the problems they want to solve in free software, in technologies that are coherent with the vision of how we think that the operating system should be working, how people should be using IT in general, right? But this is an IRC client, which is something for me still very weird to use on a phone. At some point, I decided that we really had to make we had to make much easier to develop applications for Android. At the beginning, what I started doing was to start trimming the different dependencies we have, because I thought it was the nice thing to do. But then at some point I said, no, let's make sure that all of our dependencies that more or less all our applications have are solved, and let's see what applications that we normally use on the desktop will look like on the phone. And this is Cake, a text editor that many people use on a daily basis to, for their work, to do their coding and stuff. I compiled it for Android, and this is how it works. It actually works fine. It looks like crap, but this is not the point. The point is that if you're somebody who wants to say, I want to make sure that we have a good editor for Android, well, you can make it nice, right? Actually, this is not using Kirigami, of course. It's using the APIs that we have been using for 20 years now for creating applications, custom applications. But the code is there, right? And the logic is there, and we can port it to more Dutch and friendly APIs. I did the same with Ocular. Ocular is our everything viewer, including PDF, which is the cool one. And actually, for example, there's very bad PDF readers in Android, and none of them are free software. We have the opportunity of doing that. And actually, this is going the other way around. We had somebody work on an Ocular version for Plasma Mobile. This application had never had any users at all, besides the person actually developing it and testing it for a second and see, oh yeah, it's showing a PDF, all right. Let's put it on the proof of concept and look into something else. This had never the possibility of reaching users and actually freeing users up from having to use Acrobat or giving your PDFs to Google, right? And it worked. We had to actually spend some time to make sure that the rendering happened correctly, but it was fine. And for example, there's this application that is so there's Ike. He has been working on. He got a present at some point, which was one of these helicopters that started gold. They have several
quadrocopters.
Yeah, quadrocopters. And he wanted to. He actually didn't want to use non-free software to control it, right? Because he's like us, right? I mean, we don't like using non-free software. And what he did was actually starting developing a Kirigami application that spoke the protocols that these things do. And this is working, so I guess you get what I'm trying to say, right? So he hasn't been working on an address book, and actually we probably should be improving our address book, but he had this thing he wanted to solve, and we solved it. You can use this thing to control some drones on your Android phone, and today we have a good, useful Plasma Mobile that, my parents have, and actually your parents as well, but they will be able to control their quadcopter as well, which is definitely your biggest of the worries. You get the idea. You can find the video on YouTube later if you see anything you want to do. To make that happen, we had to spend some time to actually polish the story about how the applications are developed, how to go from the I have this source code to I have this binary that I can run. And actually, the whole concept of simplifying this actually helps a lot in that, right? Like, nobody is going to be able to want to do all of these problems, because actually this is a lot of QA that you end up having to do, and we understand that very well, if there's not a good developer story. And you need to be able to sit in front of your computer and say, give me another build, all right, this is wrong, fix it, give me another build. And that's what we've been working on. At the moment, we have a Docker system that we use for Android that will easily produce APKs if you develop your application like we expect applications to be developed, and that's great. And the same is gonna end up being for phone, right? For Plasma Mobile, we're thinking about using the Plasma runtimes, Snapcraft to just come up with a binary that you can put on your device, test it, debug it, and do it again until it works perfectly for your users. And yeah. Something we have been doing is setting up a continuous delivery system so that you can have all of the binaries, so you can develop your application on your desktop, because actually logically there really isn't that much difference between one and the other. If your application has a bug on your desktop, it will usually have the same bug on Android and not the other way around. It's still computer science, it's still logic, there's still mathematics involved, but this can't really change that much. What you can take a look at and see what it looks like, but basically for Android you have one for each application. Now we need to have two binaries. We need to have ARM and ARM64, but there's that. And for Flatpak, more or less the same. For Flatpak, we do have AMD binaries as well as ARM and ARM64, I think, as well. Also, distribute applications, but it doesn't really change. For Plasma Mobile as a platform is exactly the same as the Plasma. If something is really possible on desktop Plasma, it will be possible on Plasma Mobile. Actually, we're not even that happy about pulling desktop Plasma because it's actually the same. But I can repeat myself, that's fine. You can install the application for the distro from Flatpak, from Snap. It might change over time. There's some distros that don't have their vision to have applications installed for the distro, and that's fine by us. There's Flatpak support, there's Snap support, both in Discover, which is the software center. So if you have that, then you're good to go. For Android, we're using the information from the F-Droid to populate the information from the continuous delivery system to populate an F-Droid server. So if you have been developing an application, it goes over there, people can test it. It's nightly builds, so you get what you get. But essentially, you can see how they work, and if you do the proper QA, you can even put the application on Google Play. We have several of them, and it works fine. Actually, it's something that I think it's pretty interesting, the whole concept of, instead of making it possible for people to pay for their applications on Linux, why don't we just make people pay for the applications when they are on Google Play? We fund the development like that, and the people who are actually using the operating system properly, they can get the applications for free. They're gonna anyway because it's software, so okay. So what's Plasma Mobile? It's the same software. Actually, we're aiming. I haven't really touched it here that much, but our plan with Kirigami applications is that they should be the same code, more or less. At least 99.5% of the code should be the same on the desktop, on mobile, on tablets, on quadcopters. We don't have Plasma quadcopter yet, but when we do, it should be the same software. We're still basing ourselves on Plasma Mobile on discrete desktop standards. Keep this properly abstracted, so on Android we can still do whatever we need to do. And if it's not possible, we add the abstraction because Qt is a free software project that is open to contributions. And actually, as KD Android, we have submitted several changes over there, and it's been fine. We end up having new frontends and a UX, like Plasma on the mobile. It looks vastly different than on the desktop. It has some similarities. The assets are the same, the icons are the same, but obviously on the phone, it makes sense to scroll things from the top. You're not going to do that on the desktop, but that's perfectly fine. It's accounted for. And this also opens up a lot the possibility for people who care about the hardware, about the stack, to be able to do their work. We're not pushing them to get the things done so that people can start working on the quadcopter applications or the calculator. You can work on your application, get it on Android, test it, see what it looks like when you have it on your hand. Today that Mesa has all of the things on their driver so that our applications work perfectly. We're gonna be there, and it's gonna be awesome. And well, now if there's still some time for questions.
You can do maybe a couple, but we're already time.
Okay, we've been promised 2 questions, so better make good ones.
Anyone?
Any good ones?
Thank you. We're looking forward to
It's great to see those apps running on. Probably it was very hard to get that going. My question is, how hard would it be for you to also get that?
It was hard, and actually the hard part was that I wanted to make it easy for you, right? So what we're doing on all of these applications, or at least 99% of the cases, is that you shouldn't be able, or you shouldn't have to modify your CMake scripts or anything. Things should just work. And if it doesn't, it probably means that there's a bug somewhere. But if you use CMake as is, you wouldn't have this disadvantage. If you follow our how-tos and things, well, that should be the case. And, well, I don't know. Try it and tell me if you're happy. If you're happy, then it means that it works. If you're not happy, then it's a bug on me, and I'll fix it. And the next will be done. Thank you all very much for staying.